Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Monday Market Breakdown. Now, guys, on this session, we are going to be taking a look at all of the pairs that I've already analyzed. So I've already analyzed all of the pairs and I've already built my watch list. So this is how my watch list is looking like. So on this session, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be breaking down these pairs, giving you a thought process behind my analysis on these pairs. And also, we're also going to be doing what our forecasting on these pairs, meaning what we are going to be planning for our interest in advance, meaning we are looking at the market and planning how does the market have to look in order for us to be able to execute on any of these pairs. But first and foremost, let us take a look at what the DXY, which represents what the dollar index, so representing what the US dollar. Now, if we break this down, we're starting with the higher time frame, so you can understand what the overall trend or momentum. So, as you're on the weekly time frame, if we're starting from here, we can see the price has been forming what? Did form what? This overall reversing structure, price broke up and then dropped to the downside. And then price formed what you can say, okay, this is what another possible reversal over here. And then price, what happened? Price broke out to the upside. And now currently what happened? Price formed what? A continuation pattern whereby price broke out to the upside over here. So this is having what? A higher probability of climbing all the way to the upside like so. And now if you're jumping onto our daily time frame, so you're combining all of our time frames. So on the daily time frame, what can we see on this one? So over here, we can see that prices did form what this small continuation over here. And then what happened? Price broke out. And then if you're coming over here, price did form what this second continuation pattern. And then price did also break out from the retest. So overall, this is having what a higher probability of climbing all the way to the upside. So the momentum is to the upside. Now, if you're jumping into our 4-hour time frame, so after price broke out over here, what happened? We did see price giving us what this continuation pattern in the mid time frame, and then what happened? Price broke out, trying to the upside, and now currently we do see that price is in the process of forming what another potential continuation pattern over here. So all that we are waiting for is for this to break out. So if this breaks out, then definitely this will be what that confirmation that the DXY is having what the higher probability of climbing to the upside. Now, guys, the DXY, we are not trading it. We're just using what as a reference or a correlation because this represents what the overall dollar index. So we do have what a pair that relates to the dollar. So we did see that the DXY is having what a higher probability of climbing to the upside. Now, if we're coming here, we do see that we do have what the Australian dollar is what is our base pair, and we're having what the US dollar is what is our code pair, meaning what the Australian dollar is climbing to the upside and the DXY is doing what is dropping to the downside. No, meaning what the Australian dollar is dropping to the downside and the DXY is climbing to the upside, just like we did analyze the DXY. So let us break down the Australian dollar over the US dollar. So I'll just delete everything and then we are starting on the higher time frame and working our way down. So what we are doing when you're doing a multi-time frame analysis, make sure that your direction correlates with each and every time frame. That is when we are doing what? That is when you are trading with the trend. So that's a small tip for you traders out there. Make sure that your time frames are aligned because if you are on this time frame, this is giving you a direction to the upside and this is giving you a direction to the upside, then you're most likely to get trapped in a ranging market or to take losses. But if all of your time frames are aligning in one direction, then you're having what higher probability of the market working out in a direction. So coming with on the Australian dollar over the US dollar. So if you're starting from here, we do see the price has been forming what these continuation patterns to the downside. This was the first one, broke out and then dropped, and then price came over here. You can see that this is what continuation pattern, broke out, dropped to the downside. And then now currently we do see that, okay, this is what our continuation pattern. What happened? Price broke out and it is currently doing what? It is currently dropping. So this is having what a high probability of continuing to drop all the way to the downside. And now if you're moving onto our daily time frame, let us see what the daily time frame is looking like. So let me just align this proper to have our charts meet because I don't want to have messy charts. Now on the daily time frame, what are we seeing? So previously, this was what continuation pattern, and then price broke out, dropped to the downside, and then currently, this is what continuation drop out after the breakout, and then over here, we also have what this is our continuation pattern. So this might be a bit strange, but this will make sense on the lower time frame. This, in my opinion, it is still having what a higher probability of dropping to the downside. there's no need for us to do it to evolve this pattern just yet, because this is going to make sense as we're moving where onto our lower time frame. So if we're moving into our mid time frame, what are we seeing? So this is what our impulsive move, and this is what our corrective structure. So over here, if I'm aligning my trend lines like so, I am seeing that, okay, price is in the process of forming what a potential continuation pattern. So all that I'm waiting for is for this to break out over here. So once this breaks out, this will be confirming that it's having what a higher probability of dropping to the downside. And then what am I looking for in order for me to enter this one? So I'm looking for a continuation pattern, either before the breakout or after the breakout. So I'll just place it somewhere around the middle. First, an impulsive move down, followed by what the continuation pattern. So if I do have something along those lines, then this will be what? This will be my indication for me to do what? To execute an entry on this one, like so. Entry on the breakout, my stop loss above the pattern. The overall target, usually you measure the length of the impulse, but since we're trading with that, with the overall momentum, I can place what my overall take profit all the way to the downside, because I'm looking to do what I'm looking to trail stop this trade. I'm not looking to place what the take profit. I'm looking to trail stop up until the market decides to go against them. So that is it on the Australian dollar, US dollar. Now let us move on over onto our next pair, which is what the Australian dollar over the Canadian dollar. Now, guys, something important to mention, guys. As you can see, I'm having what a lot of Australian pairs and a lot of Canadian pairs, guys. So when you're in this situation, make sure, guys, even if you're having what multiple confirmations on all of these pairs, you do not execute all Australian dollars at the same time. Imagine opening three trades, all of these AUD USD, AUD CAD, and also what AUD NZD. Guys, this is putting your risk triple, guys, because the Australian dollar is involved in all of these pairs. So make sure that you are sticking to the cleanest one, and then you can only take the second one once you've moved the first trade into break even. Because now, if you're risking 1% and opening all of those trades, you're no longer risking what 1%, you're now risking what 3%. Why? Because the Australian dollar is involved in all of those three pairs. So that's something important to note. Now let us get back into our analysis. Now with the Australian dollar and Canadian dollar, let us start by going to the higher time frame, which is the weekly, and let us work our way down. Okay, guys, so as we're here, what am I seeing in this one? So in this one, I am seeing that, okay, this is what my impulsive move and this is what my corrective structure. So if I'm placing this like so, you can see that, okay, this is acting as what is a continuation pattern. This did form a breakout, and this looking like it's retesting, but overall, this is having what a higher probability of continuing to climb all the way to the upside. And now as I'm coming into what? Into my daily time frame. No, guys, this is how I'm seeing it. So this is a bit biased because on the weekly, we do see that continuation pattern to the upside. And then on the lower time frame, this is how I'm seeing it. This did break out. So this is having what a higher probability of climbing all the way to the upside. So on the forward time frame, at the moment, we are not having anything much that we can point. We are having what this is a small continuation, but this is more visible way on the hourly time frame. So if you can move on the hourly time frame, you can see what that continuation pattern even more clearer, as you can see over here. So now on my end, what am I looking for in order for me to execute on this one? So I'm just waiting for price to come out the clear impulsive move up, clear impulsive move up, followed by what? Small continuation pattern. So if I do have something along these lines, then this will be what my indication to execute those buys to the upside, like so. And how am I looking to enter this one? And from the breakout, my stop loss below the pattern, and my take profit all the way to the upside. Like so. So this is how I'm looking at what the Australian dollar over the Canadian dollar. And now if we're moving on to our next pair, what are we having? The Australian dollar over the New Zealand dollar. But guys, if I'm being honest with you, I'm a bit biased on the Australian dollar over the Canadian dollar, because let me show you why. This pair, if I'm being honest, I was not supposed to add it into my watch list because I'm a bit biased. So I've already done that analysis, but if I can analyze it again, I will see what another direction, which is to the downside. So this makes sense on both directions. But the only thing that is confusing me is because I'm not taking this as what is my impulsive move. But if I place it in trend lines like this, then I can see that, okay, this is what the continuation pattern to the downside. So this does happen sometimes as traders, whereby we are getting what conflicted bias. If you can analyze it, it's confirming bias. If you can analyze it, it is confirming those cells again. So as you can see over here, this is also confirming what those cells. This was what the continuation pattern. And once again, this is in the process of forming what continuation pattern. But the only reason why I'm sticking with what with those buys instead of cells is because those cells are not yet confirmed. Why? They'll be confirmed once this does what? This does break out. So if you're in this situation whereby you're having what a conflicting bias, the only thing that you can do is to just remove that pair of your watch list and focus on other pairs that do make sense to you. Because guys, as a trader, you do not want to force yourself to trade things that do not make sense to you, even if it aligns with your trading plan. But if it does not make sense to you, don't trade it. Only trade things that do what? That makes sense to you and your trading plan. Because if you're taking those losses and you take a loss on a pair that you did not feel comfortable trading it, it's going to be that much worse because now you're going to be what? Emotional. But let us move on over onto our next pair, which is the Australian dollar over the New Zealand dollar. So this is my favorite pair of the week, if I'm being honest with you. This is what I'm focused on. So on the weekly, what are we seeing? Price did come from this big impulsive move to the downside, and then price give us what this overall correction, and then price give us what a breakout over here. So this is having what a higher probability of dropping all the way to the downside. So we can place what this level over here as our take profit, and this is combining also with this previous continuation pattern. So let me draw it on. As you can see, it broke out and then dropped to the downside. So this is also having what the higher probability of dropping all the way to the downside. And now if we're jumping into our daily time frame, what are we seeing in the daily? So I'll just move this trend line back a bit. So on the daily, this is what my impulsive move, and this is what my continuation pattern, as you can see. This is what my continuation pattern. Price did form a breakout over here. So this is having what a higher probability of impulsing to the downside. And now if we're jumping where into our 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour, what are we seeing? So previously we do see price giving us what this is our first continuation pattern, as you can see. And then now coming over here, this is what our second continuation pattern that formed what a breakout that we are looking for. So this is having what the higher probability of dropping all the way to the downside. And now if we can do it, jump on our entry time frame. What are we looking for in order for us to place an entry on this one? By now you should know, first we are looking for price to give us an impulsive move down and then follow through by giving us a continuation pattern to the downside. So once you do have that continuation pattern, then that will be what an indication for us to enter. And how will we enter? Enter on the breakout, stop loss above the pattern, and our take profit is going to be all the way to the downside. Why? Because we do not place take profit. We are looking to trail stop up until the market decides to take us out. So this is how I'm looking at the Australian dollar over the New Zealand dollar. So this is my favorite pair of the week. And now for our final pair, what are we having? The New Zealand dollar over the Canadian dollar. So let me break this down. Nice and simple. So with this one coming into our weekly time frame, what are we seeing? This is our clear impulsive move, and this is our corrective structure. If you can draw it on, so you can see that we're having what a continuation pattern. Price did form what a breakout over here. So this is having what a higher probability of impulsing all the way to the upside. And now if we're jumping into our daily time frame, what are we seeing on the daily? So on the daily time frame, this is our impulsive move. And if you can draw this on like so, we do see that, okay, price is giving us what this is our continuation pattern. Price already broke out and then formed what a retest. So overall, this is having what a higher probability of climbing all the way to the upside. And if we're going into our 4-hour time frame, so on the 4-hour time frame, what are we seeing? This is acting as what is a continuation pattern to the upside, as you can see. Price already broke out, so this is having what a higher probability of continuing to impulse up. And now on our entry time frame, what are we looking for? So you already have what that impulsive move. So all that I'm looking for is for price to give me continuation pattern. As long as it has what 2 swing highs and 2 swing lows, it is a valid pattern. You can place your trend lines 2 swing highs at the top and also 2 swing lows at the bottom. You connect them into your trend line. And this is how I look to enter. On the breakout, my stop loss will be below the pattern and my take profit will be all the way to the upside. So this is how I am looking at what? At NZD CAD. I'm looking for those buys. So this is how my watch list is looking like for this week. I'm having NZD CAD for buys, and I'm looking to sell AUD NZD. And finally, I'm also looking to do it to sell AUD USD. And the DXY is my bias that I'm using. That is bullish in my opinion. So yeah, guys, this is how I'm looking at the market for this week. This is how my watch list is looking like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be updating you throughout the course of this week, how these pairs are progressing. So I'll update you guys once again on Wednesday when we're having our session with our VIP members, and I'll also update you guys on Fridays on how these pairs have been developing. But for now, guys, this is going to be the end of our session. I will send through the screenshots and I'm going to trade ideas of all of these pairs, and I'll also send you those signals as soon as these pairs are ready to be traded, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this session, and hopefully you did learn something from this session that you can implement into your trading week. But for now, guys, this is going to be the end, and I'll see you next time.